from my particular perspective, what I consider to be the most exquisite potential of human life is going to be romance. The most exquisite potential is going to be a phenomenon that we're going to call true love. And what that is that is a paradoxical state where one person's happiness is causing the other person's happiness. And this is as a result of the potential of human psychology as a result of mirror neurons. So true love is when you need to be honest with each other and will be honest with each other about what's going on inside your head, because each person is so interested in what's going on inside the other person's head because they want to know how it is to please them. And they want to know how to please them because when that other partner is pleased, it causes happiness inside you, okay? You can imagine relationships on a continuum of deception. And on the far left of a line segment, we're going to say that the interests of these two people are diametrically opposed. They are, in fact, either competitors or enemies. And on the other side, on the far side of the continuum, this is going to be a stellar or exquisite relationship, the best that it gets. This is love. So you're going to realize that beneath that line segment, and incidentally, that line segment is going to be, that continuum is going to be defined by the concept of whether or not your genetic interests are aligned. So if your genetic interests are not aligned at all, they are totally skew. They're in opposite directions, actually. If they're in opposite directions, you are enemies, effectively. If they are exactly parallel, you are in a perfect kind of a situation. Now, in between, you're going to see that there's going to be varying degrees of how much your interests are aligned. Now, underneath that line segment, there's going to be another line segment that runs parallel to it underneath it. And on the far left, and that line segment is going to be how much deception is going to be called for in this situation. When your interests are diametrically opposed, when you are attempting to defend your city from Caesar, you want to be as deceptive as possible. You want Caesar to be totally fooled about what it is that you're doing. So your motivation is misinformation. If you have found the love of your life, what you want is something completely opposite. You want to be as transparent as possible so that you understand what it is that they like and what it is that they want so that you can give it to them. And the reason you want that is because you want to see their happiness. And the reason you want to see their happiness is it causes your happiness because it activates mirror neurons. Okay? So this is a magnificent paradox that sits inside of human potential. Everybody sniffs it. Everybody intuitively seeks it. It's going to turn out that the more disagreeable you are by nature, the less easy this comes to you. Okay? Very disagreeable people have a difficult time even getting here. And that is that they're too interested in gaming the system. So you can imagine that down in the middle of this curve, both of these curves, is going to be what we call normal trade relations. So now you're talking to a plumber, okay? You hope he's going to be reasonably honest with you. If the bill sounds like it's too high, then you're going to feel like, you know what, I don't think he's telling me the truth. I'm going to get a second plumber. I'm going to get a second opinion. And you know what, I may get a third opinion before I pony up my $5,000 for this problem. Okay? Now, so it's going to but for example, as trades move towards more honesty, then it's going to turn out that you can get these repetitive trades that work really well. And you don't have to spend as much time checking about whether they're honest. So you reduce the transaction costs of finding out whether or not you're being deceived. Okay? This is going to be better trades, whether it's friends or in romance. Okay? You can see the possibility of having a situation where you don't have to check. All you have to do is ask. Okay? All you have to do is try to figure out where the other person's at. This, among wonderful people that get together beautifully, you wind up with a very interesting thing, which is that, you know, where do you want to go to dinner? Hey, it's wherever you want to go. Because what's most important to me is whether or not you're happy. Okay? That's a beautiful potential that sits inside of some people. Other people it doesn't sit inside of. They're just literally not capable of experiencing that. This program and my philosophy and what I'm interested in exploring in life, I'm not really interested in trying to figure out how to game the system. I'm not interested in possibly normal trade relationships that males and females might have within normal mating dynamics that might take place. So, for example, I'm not really interested. I just talked to a female today, a woman today, that told me that she had a counselor for a couple of months who is instructing her on how to snag a man for marriage. Okay, and that's what this woman does. That's what this counselor does, is instructs women on how it is to do this. Incredible. Okay, it's like, wow, what are you getting? Is this the end that you seek? Okay, because if that's the end that you seek, I have absolutely no interest in learning any of the nuances of how someone might do such a thing. Because in no way does this lead us to this beautiful, loving paradox that I know is possible for human beings. Okay, from the possibility of finding a truly loving paradox. And so that's what I'm interested in, because I'm interested in the highest potentials for human nature and the best experiences that people can have. If you actually look at human sexuality and you actually look at the peak experience that would be possible probably for human beings, there would be many. Watching your kid to walk, watching them graduate from high school, all kinds of things. I don't know, petting my cat comes pretty close. But if you think about the most exquisite sex that a person is likely to have, one of them would be to be with somebody so much more attractive than yourself that all of your bells are going off in your head, that this is just this exquisite specimen. That would be one thing, okay? But here's another. How about if you're in a situation where you fully qualify, the other person fully qualifies for a pair bond, and now we're in a situation where we are in a loving paradox that, watch what happens sexually. What happens is that what you want to know is that the other person is really happy. And what they want to know is that you're really happy. How about that? Okay? That process is the process where conflicts of interest between male and female have been minimized. That's what that is. Under the most ideal possible circumstances for what? Reproductive activity. This is the genes giving us a clue, talking through the ages, telling you this is the best set of circumstances. This is actually the most efficient, optimal circumstances under which DNA is reproduced. When we see the average man and what it is that's going on in his head, it speaks of a nervous system that throughout evolution has actually sought the loving paradox. That's why they are willing to go to movies. That's why they can hear love songs and respond to them, because they actually have mirror neurons enough that crave for this situation. And in that situation, they crave to be transparent in what their motivation is, have the other person read it, and have both of them respond to trying to figure out how to make the other person happy. That's what we're trying to do, and 10 Paid Dates is a way to try to have people save their time and energy away from distractions that would keep them away from searching for a fabulous individual with whom they could share that experience.